The Omnipotent Self, a Study in Self-Deception and Self-Cure by Paul Bousfield, published 1923. Preface. Nature has granted to all to be happy if we but knew how to use her gifts. Claudius. Many people, while not considering themselves as suffering from any nervous ailment or desiring the services of a physician, are yet far from being perfectly happy in their mental outlook and temperament. Either their feelings are too easily roused, or they are inclined to worry, to be depressed, irritable, nervous, or oversensitive. Trifles which to them seem no trifles interfere with the smooth course of their daily lives, or this slight abnormality may manifest itself in an oversensitiveness to physical pain or to mental or moral difficulties and conflicts. It is with the hope of helping a few such individuals to a better understanding of themselves, and through this to a more equitable temperament and greater happiness, that this little book is written. There is no hard and fast line between the normal and the abnormal person, and indeed a very real difficulty exists in even defining a normal person. If we take our definition of normal as being average or conforming to type or standard, then the majority of people are normal. If, on the other hand, we take its other meaning, that of performing the proper functions, then there are few people approaching the normal under modern civilized conditions. A tendency to undue irritability or depression is a mild and very common form of abnormality. Hysterias, obsessions, and unreasonable fears are greater abnormalities, and fortunately of less frequent occurrence, while certain forms of insanity are still greater deviations from the normal. A similar combination of causes, however, may form the basis of all these abnormalities, and these various deviations from the normal are more of degree than of kind. But whereas in case of obsessions and unreasonable fears or in such other abnormalities as homosexuality or sexual impotence, etc., the causes are deeply hidden and the forces at work somewhat complicated. In the lesser abnormalities, there are causes frequently lying less deeply. In the case of obsessions, phobias, hysterias, sexual abnormalities, and so forth, we can only hope to effect an improvement by a thorough analysis of the unconscious causes and conflicts by a competent psychoanalysis. In the lesser troubles of the mind, however, considerable improvement can often be effected by means of a somewhat superficial self-analysis. This will be directed towards investigating one in particular of the primary causes which play an important part in all the minor unpleasant temperamental faults. In order to teach the patient to help himself, it will first of all be necessary to enlighten him to a considerable extent as to the general evolution of his character. At any rate, in as far as one important mental complex known as narcissism is concerned. In doing this, many other mental complexes will have to be superficially touched upon, but in order to simplify the work for the uninitiated, they will not be specifically named when they appear. For although this would make the work more technically accurate, it would at the same time make it less clear, and in a book of this type, this would be very undesirable. The first object I have in mind is that the work shall be lucid, concise, and readily understood by any person of ordinary education, so that he may gain an insight into the essential causes and growth of some of his abnormal characteristics without undue complication of ideas. It is further hoped that this small work may be of some assistance in suggesting to parents a few of the many things to be avoided in the early training of the child. Paul Bousfield. End of preface. Narrated by Rex King.